So, what has led us and the motivation for having this meeting today? We've had 3 unions, that is UPEU, which represents workers in the water sector. We've had electricity, which has been energy. We've also had local government, who represent waste workers. For the last 5 years, even before the KCCA happening, they've been discussing what are the key challenges when it comes to water management, waste management, and energy sector in this country, and what are the correlations and interlinkages between the 3 sectors, and how it impacts on the quality service provision within those 3 sectors. A number of meetings were actually done. We also had some benchmarking visits, and I want to appreciate the National Water and Sewerage Corporation, because we went to your plant in Ginger to be able to appreciate what does it really take to clean the water, especially if there's a lot of waste dumping within the water sources. We also were able to visit the generation in Narobale in Ginger, just to appreciate what is the leakage, because every time people come together, we talk in silence. We forget that waste actually affects the entire economy. So I want to appreciate those 3 that allowed us to interact with their processes in their various jurisdictions. At the same time, we were able to undertake research to appreciate the multifaceted or number of players within these 3 sectors, both at public sector and also the multinational corporations who engage in these 3 sectors. And our concern as union was, what is the workers' welfare? Because if you're going to have quality public service provision, then you must ensure that a cow is well fed. It is actually Moses who says, do not muzzle the oxen while it is plowing your land. That means a well-fed cow is able to plow for you properly. And that is what we mean by workers' welfare and decent work in these 3 sectors. Our observation is that Uganda has made huge strides in both water and energy sector. And I want us to appreciate that, including the bold step that was taken by the government to renationalize the energy sector, that is women generation, among others. Maintenance of water sector as a parastatal, which has continued to be a good example of how good governance and collaboration among various stakeholders can lead to the desired results for the good of the public. And I want to commend National Water and the entire team, because you're one of the parastatals that is actually working in this country. And I want to appreciate what are the lessons. However, the elephant in the house that still weighs on the country, including the image, and has ripple effects on other sectors of the economy, and especially public health, has been waste management. And just as highlighted by the previous presenters, the recent happenings in Chitenzi landfill that led to unfortunate death has led to a lot of questions, which also gives opportunity for open discussions. Why are we failing to handle this compared to other sectors in the economy? Why? Secondly, waste is actually recognized currently as a new gold globally. And many countries have actually invested in ensuring that the waste management is something they can actually get dividends out. And many big multinational corporations also engage in recycling and production because there is huge dividends and profitability from this same economy. However, why is the sector still bedeviled with many paradoxes? From the landfill, management, recycling, segregation, despite the opportunities presented in this sector. To move forward as a country with a holistic and integrated approach, how do we find a better way of waste management, right from source of generation to to the macro level in the country? That is a big question we want to ask ourselves today. We appreciate there's a number of policies and acts that exist in the country that talks about waste management and also assigning responsibility to different ministries and also different players. We also appreciate the fact that there's decentralization of waste management in the country, which also brings the issues of resource allocation. But just as said, Uganda's population has increased exponentially since the independence. And we still have the same facilities, we still have the same sewers that were put up by our colonial masters. Why are we not progressing? In 2009, all of us will recall, there was a bold step to declare that plastic bags of less than 30 microns were banned, but the ban has never taken effect. Why the lamentation when you can actually change the paradigm and also change the state of affairs? But also recognize there's lack of intentional individual responsibility. We keep on talking about a government. I always ask my student, who is a government? It is me, it is you. But at the domestic level, do we ourselves have a conscious responsibility when it comes to how we manage our waste, or with the first problem at individual level? That is a question we need to ask ourselves. But also note there's inadequate funding towards waste management, including equipment. This is something we witnessed when we went to Mbale, we went to Jinja, we went to Namutuba. They lack equipment, so that becomes a challenge to effective management. Uganda has also adopted the 3 acts, but there's still no sensitization and education for public on these 3 acts, including segregation at domestic level. But then finally, we recognize there's a number of players when it comes to management of waste, especially KCCA. But the contracts sometimes are too short. I want you to think as an investor, if you're given a contract of 1 year, and after you do heavy investments, and there's a lot of, I need to have return on capital, is it cost effective? Will it allow me to do my best? That is the question that you want to ask them. So the consequences have been negative and poor ambience, including image as a country, environmental degradation, high disease burden and pressure public health system, high cost of maintenance of water sources in the country, direct bearing on water treatment and energy production costs, increase in climate change in the country, loss of revenue, but at the same time, investment opportunities. So we sit here today and ask ourselves, what should be done? When it comes to workers, that maybe the workers will address, I want to remind ourselves, if you look at the workers within the waste management, majority of them are poor old women. That might be my mother. That might be my grandmother. And that might be somebody's wife. And many of them are characterized with very low pay, lack or inadequate protective equipment, sometimes delayed salaries. Some of these ones are subjected to gender-based violence because all of us are witnesses, especially if you're a night traveler like me. By 2 a.m. we find these women cleaning the streets when all of us are snoring. There is no security to protect them. There is always human nature, because that's what God is still contending with. And many of them are subjected to either sexual abuse or physical abuse while carrying out their work. So as we go into the discussion, we need to ask ourselves this silent question. Why the stagnation and how can we progress? This is a simple picture to show you the workers in Mali. They are tired, fatigued. Yet they must still get survival, despite the meager pay. But the survival to make you and me safe and have a clean environment. This is Namutuba. Look at the old man. Look at the women and the state. When will we make our waste sector attractive, that people will be proud to work in the waste sector? Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the issue of waste is becoming a national issue. And I talk for Kampala Central, especially where we are. My brother from Mukono, Entebbe and the rest, this is a transit route and being called a metropolitan. My brothers and sisters, if you do not see what's happening in town, especially where I am, I'm going to talk for Kampala Central because I've been to other towns, but I'm going to insist on Kampala Central. It's alarming. It's alarming and it's becoming a very big issue to all of us. You may say you're from Mukono, you're not concerned, you're going to be concerned. From Entebbe, you're going to be concerned because this is a metropolitan area. What affects me is going to affect you. Two, most of this garbage being generated is not only from Kampala Central. You are the guy bringing it from Mukono. Because you have matoke, you have other things, it's a transit route, you are bringing raw stuff from Kampala Central. When you bring it here, it's now being processed. Then, being processed, that's when the garbage is being generated. I happen to come from a slum area called Kisenyi, and I'm proud of being born from Kisenyi, one parish. That's where I've grown up from. I can assure you, our communities down there, they are yearning for services. And it's our mandate as KCCA to make sure this capital city is clean. I'm actually one person, I'm against an authority. I heard, was it you talking about authority? I'm always against an authority. I want us to go back to a local government, whereby it's operating here. Why? Because I'm generating the highest amount of money in the whole of Uganda. But what returns to me is peanuts. It's peanuts. So I'm advocating so much to see that the issue of an authority doesn't work out. Totally. What was the concept of authority is not serving the people of you cannot take advantage of what's happening. Because some of us are making the capital base to make it a political, avenue for you to get votes. Please, this is not time for looking for votes. Let us get solution. Whoever has not been in Kitezi, because I went personally to see what's happening and what solution are we looking for. Those who have not gone there, let us not play with people's lives. Was it Mr. Chimbo talking about, I met a team from Ghana, investors who have come, a lot of people have come up to show. Actually, you don't need sorting. Did you know that? No. I was insisting, let's sort, they said no. They showed us a video how they work, and they promised for me to go and visit there. I said, no, this video is just enough. You don't need sorting. That was one thing I saw amazing. They make bricks, they make pavers, they make energy, fertilizers, name everything without sorting. And that was the best way to go. So kindly, my fellow leaders, let us accept. In Uganda, let us accept this is something that we stop it. We must all come up and say, no, let the investors come, take charge of this. If we can manage, let's manage. But if we cannot, let us get the professionals to do what they can do best. People have become brokers for that. Why? People are dying there and us were looking for how to get the Njawulo out of the 16 billion. Shame upon us, leaders. Shame upon us. So, with those few remarks, I made sure I must come here. I received the invitation today in the morning. That's the truth. But because of the cause of this meeting, I said, no, I must attend, air out my view. Us Ugandans, we're very good at this. When we sit here, we can we're very good at paperwork, but implementation, zero. When we were in Kigali, they put each and every technical on performance bond. You work on performance. If you are an ED, you are given guidelines. If you fail to fulfill, you just walk slowly. If you're a minister, you have guidelines to fulfill. If you fail to fulfill, you walk slowly because you are rating yourself. And it's online. So, with all due respect, I am here to make sure this city is clean. Uganda, we save our Ugandans. Make sure the whole, not only Kampala Central, all our citizens, it's our mandate. We must render services to
political parties. This is an issue of national importance. This is an issue that needed to be dealt with without petty politics. I saw a leader saying, I'm doing that because he is opposition, I'm NRM. No, that had nothing to do with it. Our dumping site is close to a water body. As Entebbe, we handle 100 to 150 on the max metric tons of garbage a day. My brother here, who is in charge of the solid waste at KCCA, produces 2,500 metric tons a day. I have a dumping site that's about 14 acres. Where was I going to put that garbage? 2, I happen to host the airspace for the takeoff and landing of planes into the country. Garbage comes with our friends, the birds. Those birds are a danger to the airspace. Airlines were going to shut down their activities with us as a country. Now, they were bringing garbage. I worked very closely with him. They were bringing garbage. First of all, let's first be clear. KCCA had no permission from us when they started dumping at our site. He's here, he can tell you openly. They decided, with no conversation with us, started driving trucks and started dumping. The next thing we saw, they had a meeting with the town council of Katabi and even got into MOUs. And be it me, be it my town clerk, we saw it on the news. The next thing we hear, the Lord Mayor has said it has already been done, it can't be reversed. I said, where? It cannot be reversed. So we overlooked that. We said, okay, my brother Uhuru talks about it. Let's stop playing with people's lives. As Ugandans, it's like we trivialize everything. Everything, especially the politicians. We look at it as mileage. We look at it for show. We look at it as something we will come and get people to clap for us. Let's not trivialize people's lives, their livelihoods. These things, the reason we are called leaders is because we are supposed to be at the forefront of fighting for the people that we lead. How do we fight for them? By actually not just meeting and talking. Can we put into actions the things that we meet about? The group he talks about are friends of mine from Ghana. They came here. They met with the deputy speaker. They met with the prime minister. KCCA tells me they sent a team. What are they saying? The stories we give people. Let's be realistic. Which Ugandans do you know that are going to sort and source? People don't have food. You're telling them to buy 3 garbage cans. Already right now they put everything in a sack, isn't it? Now you're telling them to sort and source. That's not necessary. Let's give solutions that are practical to our people. The Bazungu that you're talking about, that sort and source, did not start from the beginning. It took them years, and there's a reason. There is a fee that they charge those ones who have not sorted and sourced, isn't it? Yes. Our guys here don't even want to pay that money that the garbage companies collect. You find people, I find them in their cars. They are no, but you see, this is not the problem we have. Is we have so many of these meetings that yield nothing. We come, we talk, we clap for each other, drink the free tea we're given, and go home. What are the actual solutions? We have written as Entebbe to the ministry asking for permission for somebody to do this waste management, okay? A recycling plant. As long as you don't have the upfront payment, nobody responds to you. Let's have honest conversations. Because we come here and clap for them. We come, we've driven, we've talked, we go away. Here's the thing. We want to be serious about garbage because it's a shame that a country in 2024, we are still discussing people dying from a landfill. We are still talking about, because even the things we send to Mukono, it's not being recycled. Is it? It's being heaped up. So Mukono is a taking time. That Chitezi plant, any day now, that thing can explode. Because that's gas at the bottom. What we need to do is agree, if we are honestly serious about this, can we say these are the things that we want to do, these are the timelines, and this is who we're working with. Otherwise we're wasting each other's time and we're not going to do anything.
Each Mevu Nkota is covered into what? That fiber. And even I think Bogoya. Yes. It is okay for safety transit. But after, who goes with it? Do they go back with it? They dump it. You go down to Atowino and Nakasero. Much of that is what we would call unnecessary waste in the city. So I think we need to, as a way forward, we need to come up maybe with laws that will actually negate some of this waste, even including our colleagues like the traffic police, to refuse these cars to even enter the what? Yes, the city. 2, I will not mention the bakery where I normally sit, but I have seen the bakeries in the city here where vehicles park. And each vehicle that parks enters and picks whatever they are picking, yet, and then they are given polythene. About each car goes with about 10 polythene carriers. Yet this same car is at home, it is entering in a garage. Do you need a Kavera to get your Mogati from the car, which is already inside your house, to take it on the dining table? I mentioned it. There is a lot of politicizing some of these policies. And that's why as technocrats, we put everything on paper. Then at implementation, of course, there is a role. I want to also call upon the other entities like CSOs to be proactive in helping us to advocate. For example, if we had gotten some more pressures coming from advocating for the decommissioning of cheetahs, other than waiting at the end of the day, it would have been served as at least some mitigation measures. Now, it's unfortunate, Mr. Moderator, that I think you need to also look forward to debating, in such debates to be proactive, so that we don't come when an incident which has claimed maybe life has happened. But look into now, I would implore that PSI, you look into where we anticipate even some catastrophe to happen, so that we debate before they happen. That would serve us better. I want to again re-emphasize the issue of the solid waste management in urban authorities. There are procedures of having even a landfill or even a dump site. You have to conduct an ESIA. Many authorities cannot even afford to conduct an environment and social impact assessment. And those assessments that go on like environmental audits. So it shows us that the issue of solid waste is expensive. And I had, maybe I didn't hear it well, Honorable, you mentioned that KCCA collects money from garbage collection. In fact, KCCA doesn't collect any coin from solid waste management. So, for me, my take is, let us prioritize solid waste nationally, as a national project, not any other urban authority. Let's prioritize it as a national issue. There are countries that have done this. The question is regard to the delayed wages of, you are calling them waste collectors. These are cleaners, I think. They may be not fair.
Let's describe them in the context of this meeting.
Yeah, these are sweepers. These are the ones who clean the city in terms of cleaning the city, okay, like litter picking.
So they are dealing with garbage.
Yes, it's okay. Now, I am not aware of anybody who is demanding all this money. However, I know if they are isolated cases, that one I can get more detail. You know, the only month I know there could be this March and April, there was an issue of verification. And the people know very well that there were issues, and there has been an ongoing investigation which has caused that delay. But for what I know would be August. Of course, that's the month that we should be paying August, and then September, which is due now. Somebody raised an issue of why would they send a manager. I did not have that time to elaborate. I thought I'd put the concerns of the KCCA leadership at the registration and the organizers. It was not, the onus was not on me to explain to everybody why I'm here. I keep it to that at managerial level. Plans for KCCA after Kitezi, there are elaborate plans in place even before Kitezi incident. Very elaborate plans. And Kitezi, KCCA has gone everywhere to look for budget to actualize the plans. Like your people said, why Dundu? Why not Dundu? Dundu was meant specifically for a waste to energy facilities, where you now put exactly what we are talking about here. Well organized, not taking dumping. It was meant for clear waste to energy facilities. Here I mean electricity, composting, getting the manure. There are several forms of getting manure, but also there are other recycling plants and so on. That's why we got good size of land that side. Do we pay service private waste collectors? No, we do not pay them. The only engagement with KCCA is in terms of quality control and the contract. There are some contract obligations they're supposed to meet in terms of equipment, in terms of controlling the charges and so on. So we do not pay them anything. Yes, short contracts. I don't know to the workers. Yes, I think a generator of I don't know if it is for cleaners. That's what KCCA thinks is feasible. After all, there are even workers who are on 4-month contract, who are public servants. Why? Yes.
I hope you are talking very well for that. Which law allows some a casual worker for 20 years?
Pardon?
Which law which allows a casual worker to work for 20 years? Where I'm saying, you are saying that it is okay for short contract, and you give me short contract for 4 months. You renew 4 months, and it goes on for 20 years. Is it protected under the law?
I will not go into the jargons of the law. Yes. I will not go into that. Councillors, I will not comment. These are my rules. I will not comment about whether they are empowered or not.
But as the management, do you interface with them from time to time to bring to the fore these issues?
Definitely, because it is, council has clear schedules of engagements with technocrats. I thank you.
As citizens. And who is government? Government is us. I would like the way you have been commenting about the former speaker here. He was talking about government is responsible. We are the government. And the experience we have in Mukono, we saw when Kampala, everybody is chasing Kampala. But as Mukono, we stood as leaders to explain, sensitize our leaders. First, we sensitize the executive. My mayor is here, Mr. Sankoyo, you are most welcome. We sensitize our executive first. We sensitize the councillors amidst the politics in the area. And they got to understand that tomorrow, Mukono will be moved to a city. We shall have the same problem like Kampala. And when we go to the nearby towns, they will chase us like we are chasing KCCA. And you are all aware that we have been taking our garbage to sometimes to Chitens, all the neighboring towns. So we had to sensitize our leaders and tell them, look, wherever there is something that is bad, look for the positivity. Look for the good thing in it. Explain to your leaders why that thing happens that way. Now, for me, I saw an opportunity in Mukono with our leaders. We explained to them that where there is garbage, there is an opportunity. Mukono has been looking at buying land. And in our budget, we had resources, but they are not enough. So we looked at that. Number one, KCCA, can we expand this land? Because for us, we cannot chase you. It is not enough for us. When you all bring it to Mukono, it will be filled. Look at that. We went down to the grassroots to sensitize the community. Because sometimes you may sensitize the leaders and they fail to understand you. But once you get the executive, they understand you better. You get the councillors. You move down with the leaders. We sensitized the residents on the ground. We said, look, you wanted extension of power, we are extending a three-phase line. And we have not been having power. That's an opportunity. Look at our roads. KCCA, you must maintain the roads where we are taking this garbage. We told our leaders we are trying to see how we are helping our brothers and sisters here, because we accepted to be in Greater Kampala Metropolitan. Why do you accept the good things like the roads and you chase away garbage? Because we are benefiting from the roads which are coming from out of the Greater Kampala Metropolitan. The city can only grow when its suburbs are growing well. Because Kampala is becoming congested, where they have to build the residences in nearby towns. That's how we should upgrade our city. So when we explained these issues to the residents, say, look here, you need the water, you need the roads, you need a three-phase line. Local government leaders, we wanted to buy land. We have small resources. Government is giving us resources to buy more land, and our place is gazetted. We have a machine which needs three-phase to sort the garbage. So when we went down to the grass to explain to the leaders, much as some of them were not understanding, but majority accepted. So we go with the majority. The issue is now about KCCA and Kampala. To ascertain the nitty-gritties that we agreed upon, working on the roads, extending the power line, working on the drainage channels, bringing in machines. We had to call on the works ministry to give us the machines, and we gave KCCA 3 days. They came to ultimatum and they were elapsed. The councillors wanted to revisit. We went back to our leaders. As KCCA is trying to promise this and that, they are trying to fulfill. And they said, okay, let us give them a benefit of doubt. So they came, we are working together. What I would only advise, appeal to KCCA to fulfill what is within our nitty-gritties. Because as leaders, when you convince the leaders, you talk to the residents, they want to see action.
All right. Mr. Nwela, you hinted on
The idea is we are using the phase approach. The first initiative is to provide treatment capacity for all the liquid waste that is generated within the city. So this we are providing through construction of sewage treatment plants. We have so far finished the natural wastewater treatment plant, which is able to serve us up to 2040. We also finished the reduced sewage treatment plant, and currently we are constructing a Mukono fecal sludge treatment plant to be able to also receive and treat what we call fecal sludge. So fecal sludge is what we pick from your septic tank when it is full. So that stuff also has to be treated. So for us, we believe as an interim measure, we provide complete treatment capacity for that. And then we have completed the upgrade of the sewer systems within the city. So we have backbone sewers that are able to convey all the waste generated within Kampala. And of course, moving forward, we're again going to start working on the tertiary sewers. So I know the concern is those tertiary sewers that will bring the service closer to the people, those who have septic tanks. But I can assure you that this is a work in progress. Now that we have finished the basic infrastructure to support that cause, we are able to go ahead and provide those services. So we'll extend the sewers closer to you. It's just a matter of time. Then for the Deputy Town Clerk of Mukono, you talked about water in Mukono. Mukono is the host of our new water treatment plant in Katosi. So we are confident that the amount of water there is enough. So maybe it is a matter of having it distributed downstream to the beneficiaries. So after the meeting, we'll meet and we'll discuss a way forward to that. Yeah, thank you.
When you look at our management function, we look at the contractors, they don't have specialized equipment to collect garbage. In the sorting centers, when you see these trucks that we have, they just heap garbage which is not sorted and brought at our sites. That brings a very big problem with the sorting. The sorting should start from the grassroots as a responsibility of government, and we are the government. We should look at specialized equipment the contractors use to collect garbage. There are these trucks, when you look at the president of Burkina Faso buying those trucks, you saw the trucks, they do the sorting in the trucks when they are collecting. We should look at specialized equipment, the contractors.
a number of leaders in the markets. But now today we have only one administrator. He's the man who is doing everything. That's why you see some of those things are there, but the vendors are helpless. Because the powers were taken away from us. And now it is the administrators who are responsible for all that garbage which you can see there. The vendors have nothing to do because they don't have any powers at all. So the problem of waste management in some of those markets is because the powers were taken away from us by that act. You see, when those markets were still managed by vendors, only and managed by vendors, the vendors were responsible. That's why you are seeing the garbage was just being moved in time. But today, the flies you see in Kampala, the garbage that you are seeing in Kampala is as a result of a market act. So we don't have anything that we can do. What are we doing as a union? One, we have already formed another organization called Uganda Markets National Multipurpose Cooperative Society. In this one, we are trying to rally all our vendors so that now we can save together and then invest together. In this one, we are looking at now, if you look at Chileka, for example, there is a market there called Chileka Farmers Market. That market has over 10,000 vendors who were displaced recently when we are trying to construct that label. Those people are generating a lot of waste, but there is nothing that is being done actually to remove that waste from there. So what are we doing as a union? We want to save together and then buy land as vendors. Because these government markets, actually they are defeated. The way they are being managed, you can't imagine. So we want to put one market which is seated on 10 acres at Chileka. Then that one, after putting up that market, that means all food is coming from the east will end up there. And the garbage will remain there. It will not enter the town. So these traders in Nakasera and the other Nakawa market will be picking their products from there, bring them to Kampala, and leave the garbage there. Then what else are we doing? We're also looking at, after we have gotten that land where we are going to put that market, then we shall also look for another place where we shall put that garbage from that market. This idea of collecting all garbage from Kampala and you dump it in one place is, to say the least.
In Mukono, they requested for 2 weeks. By now it is almost, is 1 month is already gone. My councillors stood in my council and they refused to bring garbage from Kampala to Koro. But as the mayor, very close friend to this, to Uhuru, to Lafaire, to Mugwango, I said we should accept the garbage. What the government should do now immediately is to look at we, as he has been saying, let's involve the community, everybody, from grassroots, that we collect the waste, we sort it at municipal level. Every municipality has garbage heaps everywhere. We collect it, we sort it, and then we cycle it at the end. Then the government buy land or get land where to do the recycling of the garbage, the waste. We make fuel, we make fertilizers, and we produce the biogas for cooking.
But I was reading a book called The Adventures of Consciousness. That book was written by one called Daniel Ortega. But in that book, he said that anybody aspiring to lead your money must be ready to address the inadequacies from the word inadequacy. Because he was giving an example that whatever was planned is not enough. You go on the roads are not enough. You go in the theater, the theater are not enough. You go in the hospital, what was planned is not enough. You go in the university, what was planned is not enough. So everywhere, in every sector, there is a challenge of inadequate resource. So when we are talking about waste, before, when we were young, 60s, 70s, this issue of waste was not there. Because people could manage their own waste at that time. The refuse was so insignificant to the extent that it did not even need to have a fully-fledged directorate department to focus on solid waste management. Because it was insignificant. But right now, if you read the literature, just basic literature, they will tell you that in Owino here alone, tons and tons of waste are dropped every night. But how are they disposed of?
So as a first responders, people are the first people they see. What do you think needs to be done? What do you want to see?
That's why
address some of these challenges that keep coming up?
Yeah, that is why I was bringing that background. See that, and it is good that you have invited all of us. Tripartite. Tripartite means the policymakers, you said we have mayors, they have a lot to play. The managers, my brother Majiran, has a lot to play. And the ordinary worker, like Muziba, has a lot to play. That one is called the tripartite. So when we are to handle waste, then we have to interrogate the policy framework. What policy are we having to manage solid waste? What is the legal framework? What is the administrative framework? What is the sectoral framework? And what is the regulatory framework? Because right now I was interacting with some of my colleagues in the solid waste, and we were wondering what relationship do we have? Is it regularized? Is it guided by any policy? Is it guided by any law? And I think it is not there. Well, some will say that it's working in the solid waste, either SACO or 7 years, but the contract expired 7 years, 1 year back. Now, what's the relationship? What benchmarks can you use to assess or to determine the performance of that person?
All right.
If the best benchmark to use to decide whether there is a relationship or not, it is not there. If it is there, it is not even regularized.
So for you, you think there are gaps in the policy?
We need to start from somewhere so that we can start moving. But as of now, as if the way we are moving is not guided, and it may create more problems. Yes.
So, when the letter came in, one of the things that I noted there was we needed to share some experiences. So I stand here to just share some experiences that I think could be solutions to what we're discussing here. I concur with you, Richard Kimboa. We do not really need to be discussing landfills at the moment. We should be thinking more sustainably. I was in Singapore at the time the Chitezi issue happened. The Singapore government had offered me an opportunity to really meet with their top leaders to discuss and see how they're doing sustainability, especially in waste management. At the time, I was at a place called Taos 1. It's one of the waste to energy facilities that they have. So what Singapore does is they have a facility called Taos 1. There are 4 of them. Taos sits on 5 hectares, that's just about 10 acres. What they do with their waste is that they incinerate it, they burn it. Then the steam that's generated from there is used to run turbines, which generates electricity. The electricity generated there can run 240,000 homes. Now in Uganda, we are discussing rural electrification. This is an opportunity. So we have waste, we can convert it to electricity, partner with rural electrification agency, and generate electricity for the rural areas. The waste that's generated from Taos 1, the ash is used to construct their roads. Yeah, so it's sort of like aggregates. They use it to construct their roads. What am I saying? What does it take for us as Uganda to think proactively? Landfills are no longer the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, can we reach out to these people? Taos 1 was constructed by Mitsubishi. What does it take, honorable members of parliament and people in finance, Ministry of Finance? What does it take for us to reach out and come up with a solution like that? Imagine we set up a waste incineration center in Uganda somewhere. This simple facility that sits on 10 acres is consuming all the waste that Singapore is generating. Singapore is the size of Kampala and Mukono combined. So that simply means that one facility like this is A, sorting all our waste problems, giving us what they call waste, the ash, that's going to be used for construction of our roads, which makes our roads cheaper. But then also, it's dealing with that whole landfill issue. So today we are discussing Mukono, can you permit Kampala to bring their rubbish? But tomorrow it will be Muwende, it will be Karamoja, it will be another district. Where are we going to end? Can we think something more sustainable?
I just wanted to raise the issue of something, again, a local action. Most of the towns, not only Kampala, I've been to maybe last week, there is a challenge of tenants. The landlord does not provide for any action in terms of waste. So what happens is that they find their way. It ends up in the drainage channels, in the water bodies, in wetlands. So I'm wondering, is it something that the towns, the local authorities are thinking about? It is also a time bomb, by the way. Because also you get also all sorts of waste, including bunkers, in our waterways. So I'm just asking the people who are in here, whether you are thinking about engaging the landlords to do something about that, because the tenants, they don't care. They move on and on every time. Thank you.
And anyone would have expected that Parliament would have had a special sitting just for Chitezi. It did not happen. Anyone would have expected a State of the Nation address on Chitezi. It has not happened. I would have expected the gentleman from KCCA to sit there and tell us that our eyes have been opened by Chitezi. This is what we have planned. This is how we are going to do it, and these are the timelines. That has not happened. There is a lot of lamentation from that desk, and which is disheartening. I would like to hear from you members of Parliament that we are going to table this as a motion so that issues of waste management are taken seriously. When it happened, the quickest thing KCCA could do was to look for another piece of land to go and do the same thing. And in a few years, we kill more people. We need solutions that are going to last, like the engineer from Ministry of Gender is telling us. What is the problem with this country that we can never do things right? We come here and talk and we clap for you, but when you go back, what do? We need to do things that work. People are dying, not just in Chitezi. People are dying from the effects of waste. You just saw a picture of someone there who got diseases from waste. And we are here telling stories. I thank PSI for bringing us together. But out of this room, there must be action that is visible. And we want to hear what is going to happen in Parliament. We want to hear what is going to happen with KCCA. Stop blaming others. We are looking at you as people that this nation is paying to give a service.
Leaders. We're the leaders at Parliament. But for me, I bring it back to KCCA as a local government. First of all, one would ask, are we short of policy? Is it because that we don't have laws that the people of Chitezi died? When you look at the structures of government, one would wonder, do we have technical staff and the team that are responsible for planning within KCCA? One will tell you that we bought land in Dundu. We've had several reports that decommissioned Chitezi. What happened when those reports were issued? Chitezi was decommissioned, I was told 4 years ago. But the public has not been aware. We've not heard noise about this. So this comes back to us as leaders. What is our responsibility when we occupy some of these spaces? Maybe I don't want somebody to speak about money as of now, because I know we want resources to have some of these activities done. But one would ask, KCCA as an entity collects money. Garbage is paid for from wherever you collect it. So as a beneficiary or as a wananchi, how do we earn out of this? You know, when we come to issues of leadership, we have reasons as to why we have so many stakeholders. in different areas. And we appreciate this Parliament has a role to play. But one would ask, if the people of Chitez died, where is the problem? Leave Chitez alone. But when you get back to other local governments, we've had a shift in garbage collection from garbage skips to dumping to everywhere. But as a nation, we don't have a site. I should say, should we be dumping? According to research, should we be dumping as of now? When you talk to members of Parliament, are we responsible for planning for KCCA? Are we responsible for planning for Mukono? Entebbe says they have land, but are we doing the right thing? Are we supposed to be having dump sites as of now? I remember there was a general complaint about the 16 billion that was given to KCCA in line to sorting and managing garbage in Chitez. And everyone was asking, where did that money go? What was that money used for? When it comes to the right of accountability, yes, they said there are so many other areas that remained as unfunded priorities, and they were blaming Parliament for not giving this money. Yes, Parliament did give the money, but did we account for the little that was given? For now, did we account for that money as KCCA? Not. So we would ask, if one talks about prioritizing garbage, what do you want us to do as Parliament? Actually, I would have thought that if KCCA alleges that they don't have the money, as of now, we would have had a request for supplementary, if that calls for that, for a supplementary request, because we've been passing supplementary budgets for even areas that seem not to qualify for supplementary budgets. But for now, I don't know whether they have made an initiative to call for submission of a supplementary budget to ask for money to serve the people of this country. Colleagues, we have an entity of government called the Economic Research Policy Center. Research is being done in this country for several areas. And garbage is one of the areas that we've had several research reports. But what have we done for garbage? Garbage is a resource. We've had conflicts within KCCA. There are private individuals or private companies that had made requests to manage garbage on behalf of KCCA. But this is politicized all over. If we can't manage the garbage ourselves, can't we privatizing the management of garbage in this city and other areas? If we can't afford managing it, call for as leaders, we have to ensure that we put interests aside and plan properly for our people. It's very unfortunate that people have died. People have died, and we hear those small bickering within leaders. We've had reports when the incident of Chitez happened. We've had reports come to Parliament that we have so many proposals on the table. People requesting, making proposals for management of garbage. They have the capital to invest in garbage. But maybe our colleagues in the system do not allow. So what do you want government to do? And to alert you, the local government and our colleagues in the cities, the budget is so stringent and tight. You've had all your budgets cut, underfunded. So do you think government will invest all that money in garbage for now? It is a necessity, yes, but we should look at other areas. We've seen many entities giving out so many, for example, you still have catering services, cleaning services within your entities. You have privatized this. Why do we still have garbage being managed by the local entities? So for me, I would propose, as a member of Parliament, that I don't think that we are short of laws or policy. It's a matter of sitting down as stakeholders to see how best can we run this. We have the brains behind, but there is somewhere, something is locked somewhere. We need to open up and see how best we can engage all stakeholders to ensure that we put off the issue of garbage from the table. Garbage is money, garbage is a resource, let us privatize it. Otherwise, I doubt whether government has the capacity to manage garbage considering the financial constraints. Let's stop politicizing garbage. There are people who are earning out of this thing. There are people who have failed to implement privatization. Companies have brought proposals on the table. They have them. Whatever you're speaking about is not new. People have gone for benchmarks in different countries. They have gone. Where is the problem? Stop politicizing garbage. We need action. So let not anyone lie to you that we don't know.
This engagement, first of all, should be ongoing, should be continuous. And I urge the accounting officers to really take interest so that we can engage and have ideas. garbage should not be turned into a forum for discussion and then come up with ideas. Because I must mention that on the back of our government, we have actually looked at a lot of issues of accountability. But garbage waste management has not actually been featured prominently. So would you really take to action and really ensure that you prioritize garbage collection and management as one of the core issues? So I encourage you, all stakeholders, on a call to action on this matter urgently. Issues of policy gaps have been mentioned. As Parliament, we are here to regulate legislation, bring them out so that we can actually take on those matters. If they are curtailing progress in waste management, let's come up with all these issues and bring them to us. Parliament can actually handle these issues exhaustively. The other aspect is, I want to urge municipalities, cities, and local governments to prioritize garbage. Because the budget cycle starts with you people, and you come with your key priority areas. So if garbage is not a priority, then you cannot actually lament. We need to be proactive on this. Kitez should be a living example. I've visited the site and seen what actually is going on. So, do you want that similar incident to reoccur? How will we handle this? So I think I call upon you to prioritize garbage and waste management in your budgeting process. Because we have talked of Ghana, I've been to Ghana, and we saw the system is very vibrant. Now, you find that garbage has become actually, when you do SWOT analysis, it has become a very big issue. It has become a very big asset. Because one, it is actually giving people electricity. It is giving people manure and all sorts of things, and increasing a lot of employment. What is that we cannot do in Uganda? So I call stakeholders to take on this. And then of course, stakeholder engagement. Who are the key stakeholders? I want to understand PSI, because apparently they have come as a key stakeholder. So we should not actually embarrass ourselves anymore. Let's take action and ensure that we prioritize these issues. The discussion should not be just a discussion. There should be key takeaways. For example, one writer, Washington Nick, once remarked that success has got so many good fathers and failures are not fun. So what is that we can actually gather from, learn from one another? I realize we don't even have benchmarking within our boundaries. To know what is that Mukono is doing well, what is that Entebbe is doing well, that we can do in KCCA. So let's move to that other area. Then the other one is identification of partnerships. What are the key partners that you need to enlist in this area? Ladies and gentlemen, I would assume PSI is one of those key stakeholders because they are in over 100 countries. So they could be a destination where we can actually benchmark and borrow a leaf from key good areas, good practices that we can actually enlist. Then we will also encourage you to budget and prioritize garbage and waste management. And for example, I've been engaging with the casual workers, temporary workers in KCCA. They tell me they are 2,000. How I wish they can come up with an arrangement and maybe become the stakeholders handling this process. So that when we are doing a bidding process, we give them, because they are the people who are doing this. Of course, the situation under which they are working is deplorable. They don't have contracts. We had takes an action of Parliament to ensure that at least because their payment to be done. But I think we can handle this better and ensure that we move. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call you to action and ensure that as we are doing most of this work, let's prioritize garbage. I know you have a lot of priorities, but is garbage one of your priorities as an entity? So I will be privileged because since I came to Parliament, I've been on the back of the whole government, and I think I will finish it on the back of the whole government. So accounting officers and policy makers, prioritize garbage collection.
I would say, as Parliament, we have always done our best, especially in passing laws, but sometimes the executive, people in the executive arm of government, they have most times let us down. For example, they passed the law on use of Avera, but Avera is a problem in this country. Actually, it's the one causing all this mess in waste management. So the executive, yes, we need to do a lot as parliament, but we always try to do our best. But what people have done is not implemented. So I think as executive, local government, chief administrative officer, please help us and implement whatever we always at least pass as a parliament. Then the other issue is as parliament we need to really push for more funds geared towards waste management. I remember parliament created a road fund, so I think it is time now also to create a waste management direct fund towards waste management as we created the road fund. So the road fund. Then the other thing is I think there is also lack of cooperation between government sectors. For example, I've just come from Gayaza to Sukuma, that side. Every day whenever I pass there are some people who are rubbish along the road. And where they pour the rubbish, the traffic officers swear they have put their road block. But they stop this road, the ones who are driving, but they cannot arrest. So if there is cooperation, so they think it is not their work. Can we cooperate as government, as all sectors, all agencies in the government to control waste management? We should not leave this issue to KCCA or local government. It should be a mandate for everyone. If you see somebody throwing rubbish in the road, why can't you arrest him at the police office? When you just want to arrest one person without a driving permit, this waste can cause an accident on the road. So I think we need serious cooperation as all of us. Then the other issue is government has introduced new curriculum, education curriculum in the secondary school. Let's start with teaching our students on how to utilize these wasting tools useful, at least to manufacture something useful. And then teaching them what the importance of cockroaches, what and what. Let them be taught how to manage, how we can use this waste into something useful, as in the new curriculum. Then in the last parliament, one of the members of parliament had come up with a bill and he was funded, I don't know, we need to follow it up, on the only once bill. Actually, he was funded, he went to Kigali, Honorable Wakiso. So we need also to push, because the only once is also important. The community must come in also to participate in the management of waste. So I think as members of parliament, we need to follow up on this bill, how far it went, and why has it taken long, because he had proposed it, he had brought it last parliament, and now we are in the 11th parliament. Then the other issue is about roads. Yes, we are talking about wastes, but I think our roads also are contributing, because we have only supported too much of KCCA roads and we have neglected the roads in Wakiso. So we are only targeting the sitting room around here, but our kitchen and what we have neglected it. So we need the metropolitan must move together. With those few remarks, I beg to first stop there, and there are also support since I came in late.
I want to thank everyone who has stand up, contribute to this serious issue. But like one colleague actually said from that table, it's very important that whatever is discussed in this room is implemented. The question is, how do we move forward? How do we ensure that the challenges that have been identified, which are, I think, among other things, include lack of funding. There's also a problem of lack of collaboration between different authorities. For instance, in here, Mukono is saying something different from KCCA. Same applies to Entebbe. How do we do that? How do we bring communities on board? But on top of that, how do we bring on board modern ways of actually managing solid waste as a country which will be commemorating almost 6 decades of independence. What can we do? At one time we were actually told we were the same footing with the Asian tigers, which includes Singapore. Now we are learning from them. But are we learning to do or learning to just keep the issues on paper? Over to you, Dr. Entebbe.
Opportunity to appreciate our honorable mayors, the town clerks, for accepting to be part of this great discussion. We don't take it for granted. KCCA authority, it is not personal, it is work. Thank you for accepting to come. For the honorable members of parliament, thank you so much. We know that community has entrusted you with representing them and speaking on their behalf. And we want to believe in terms of the way forward, we have a number of takeaways that we want to submit for consideration. Number one, can we push for the ban of plastic waste? It is the beginning point. It is always quite interesting when people in authority lament instead of acting. It's like a father crying, what will the children do? What does it take to simply say, like we always do with Rwanda, please leave your plastic bags in the aeroplane. The same to Tanzania, the same to Kenya. What does it take? Maybe the question will actually interest you in, as members of parliament, what are the powers at play that makes people to fear banning of plastic? What is the power at play? That is the big elephant to read for you as policy makers, that there's always dilly-dallying and foot dragging when it comes to the banning of plastic waste. Because no matter what KCCA director might say, and you appreciate the observations of the bakery among others, who is behind the manufacturing of the plastic waste, the plastic bags which are supposed to be banned? Unless you're willing, Jesus said you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Then Pilate asked, what is truth? What is truth? So the question is, what is the truth behind non-banning of the plastic waste which were already abolished? And if they're abolished, why do you continue having their production? Why are we continuing to have their production? What are the power analysis? Because that is where maybe we can have dialogue to be able to see how do we overcome because of the challenges. We've also agreed it is not a political issue, it is a life issue. And so it is important to get politics out of it and save the lives. And that calls for collaboration, respecting of your party affiliation. But importantly, all of us who are here, we are government, so waste management begins with you and me. I want to appreciate the issue of tenants and landlords. Can we think about bringing a policy in the Parliament on Landlord Acts that provides that they should provide mechanism for waste collection at the domestic or the first point of generation? I am a farmer and I love farming, but also have people stay with me. So what we do is to provide, we cannot afford those plastics to talk about, but you have these buvettes, the one we use for sacks. And every household puts the food waste in that. After 1 week, we take it to the garden. Bless you, so that the virus does not come over. We'll take it to the garden and have one of the best matopics from the waste, not even any fertilizer. So can we have a policy that requires landlords to really take strategic decision in terms of providing places for waste management? The issue of the workers have come on board. But before that curriculum, I am a senior lecturer. Education that does not change behavior is a colonized education. And whether we want it in this country, we should rethink, is the education system helping us to be critical thinkers and solution makers, or it is making us to be slaves to provide market for other economies? And that is where the issue of education comes in, as we've said. Can we have secondary schools with the new curriculum? collaborating with the local governments and market where this waste is being generated. Let's pick that waste, take it to our schools. Let the schools use it as part of the project to generate not only energy for cooking, but also for lighting. Honorable members of parliament, we are cutting down our trees. Schools are so many. There is competition for firewood. Instead of cutting down our trees, let's charge the schools to go and collect the garbage and use it as a project to generate food. That is going to give us more solution to also protect our environment. That is what curriculum should be looking at. But finally, the issue of workers' engagement has come up. I want to note this as a scholar. One of the things that made Henry Ford to be one of the best employers, and one of the people who pushed for workers' rights in the entire globe, he realized that without his workers, he would not be able to succeed. Henry Ford took a strategic and intentional decision to agree with other industrial revolutionists to accept trade unions to perform. Because as a manager, you do not understand the dynamics, first of all, of manufacturing. You are a critical thinker, you're not a spade worker. And so when you realize the importance of the West or the workers in his factory as key allies in achieving and attaining his objective, he allowed them to come together and negotiate on the table. We call them workers because even if I'm a cleaner, I do work. The dynamics and semantics don't matter when somebody provides the labor in return for your payment to make you achieve your vision, either as a government or a city council. I believe the sentiments in this room are simple prayers. Can you make my life better as a sweeper? And see if I will not make your Kampala streets. As a manager, tell people, the work of a manager is that sleep, get others to work and get the credit. The credit never goes to the worker. A well-fed cow will give the milk. The one who gets the milk, the man from the milk is not the cow, it is the owner. A well-fed and treated worker will give you a lot. And maybe just observation that goes to all of us. We are the generators of this waste. Do we have monthly clinics or health camps to check on the welfare and the health of our waste workers? I know that National Water, I am not sure but I should be corrected, that you do either quarterly medical camps to check on those who are dealing with sewage. KCCA, could we just borrow a leaf? It might not cost a lot of money, it is collaboration. We can collaborate with the Mulago and other health facilities, including the local governments, to get these workers who work in this type of conditions undertake a medical checkup. It also helps them feel valued and also important. But finally, to all of us, thank you so much. Uganda Yafe, part of Africa. We have the responsibility beyond political inclination to ensure that my kid tomorrow will not want to run to Europe because it does not like the garbage in Nakasero. It begins with me, it begins with you. We shall continue making engagements and follow-ups, and please allow us to come. We are partners, we are not competitors. And I still want to emphasize that it's not about the competition of the minds, it's about pulling together for greater good of this country. We will be able to distribute some of the discussions which have been undertaken so far. We have secretariat, and anybody who is interested, please feel free, we shall be able to distribute. To the market vendors, we'll hold you to account. Jesus says one thing, by your words you shall be judged or be acquitted. So we look forward to seeing that energy generated by market vendors. We will be the most happiest. Maybe we could link you up with one organization called Mukono. It works with all the informal sector in waste management. And you could benchmark with the colleagues in Argentina. What do they do without government support? They're the richest, without any government support. You don't need authority to become rich, you need your brain to become rich. I want to say thank you so much. God bless you.